everyone, and welcome to another episode of the CWF show, which is Conversations with Faith. That's me. Welcome to today's episode. Today promises to be an exciting one because I have someone very special I've known for over a decade now, and she's been very detailed, excellent, classy with what she does. Some of you might think it's just an everyday thing, it's cake making, but she has taken it to another level in the industry of cake makers. Let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll meet our guest. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, from that short break. And my name is Faith Afolabi. I'm the host for the CWF show and the founder of Markbridge Consult, an online human resource platform for persons looking to change careers or businesses, and also an international development worker. So today we have a special person, but before I continue, I want you to hit on the subscribe button, get your popcorn, drink, and relax because you're about to hear a lifetime-changing story from our guest. So I'm going to read her profile and then we'll meet her. So her name is Lolade Ogunjimi. Yes. She's an extremely passionate cake artist known for her clean and classic cake style. With over 15 years experience in industry, she trains and mentors cake artists on how to start and grow home-based cake business. With cake baking and decorating courses, she's most recently had the Techy Caker, as she's also referred as cake photography and cake business and marketing courses, where she teaches cakers how to capture the true essence of their edible creation using smart digital solutions that are tangible and useful for growing an impressive work portfolio that is both engaging and very effective to cake makers in their business. She's the CEO of Dainty Bakery, Nigeria's #1 online cake store. The perfect solution for delicious, gorgeous cake and birthday, weddings, and much more. So let's get to meet you. All right, over to you. So why cake?
Why cake? The question is why not cake? Okay, so let me go back a bit. But before I say that, thank you for having me on the show. It's such an honor, and I do not take this for granted. And I really love the way you just read out the profile and how you expressed yourself. It was so engaging and interesting, you know.
Thank you.
Well done. So you asked the question, why cake? And I replied, why not cake? So I always like to say cake chose me. I didn't choose cake. And I know it sounds so cliche, but as a teenager, I'm the only female child of my mother. And so growing up with boys in the house, she was really concerned that, oh, my daughter shouldn't become like a tomboy, or more than anything else. Oh, wow. She didn't want me to spend most of my time with the neighbor, okay? So instead of, you know how we come back from school and everyone would just go to a neighbor's house and all whatnot, she wanted me to be meaningfully engaged. So she would enroll me in different vocational classes. I remember I learned how to decorate a hall, balloon decoration, floral arrangement. I learned cake. There was just something to do every holiday. And I didn't really like it because I just thought, oh, this woman doesn't want me to even, have friends or whatever. I didn't know that it was at the time she had literally introduced me to a creative space that will end up captivating me, and that's what I say. It literally chose me. So I got into the momentum. I enjoyed going for the classes, and she was very supportive. She would drop me off in the morning and come and pick me up in the afternoon. I don't even know, thinking back now, with the Lagos traffic, and she's so busy. I wonder how she was able to make out that time to drop me and pick me up, But that was that time of my life. I think it was just before I entered University of Lagos. And so I entered Unilag, and I remember I would bake for family, mostly family. And I remember when I got an admission into Unilag, I just went into my savings, and in the house though, not in the bank. I just broke it. So I couldn't believe how much I had there. And I took that money, I went to buy my first outfits. That I'm going to university. My mom was always buying all those skirt suits, and I didn't like it. So finally I got that money and I went straight to Yaba. At the time I went to get myself a nice pair of jeans, some lovely blouse, and I just thought, wow, without even asking mommy for money, I'm able to get these beautiful outfits for myself. So I think that was the first time I realized, oh, there's some sort of financial freedom in being able to do this type of work. Of course, I didn't take it seriously. It was just a hobby. And that's the thing about hobby that is almost like a passion. It became a passion for me. So I found out that at my spare time, when I came home from the weekend, because I would stay at the campus and then weekends I would come back home, my hands would just be itching me. I would enter into the kitchen, I would make cakes, and then because I came home weekends, by Sunday when I was going back to the hall, I would make sure I went to the hall with the cake. Wow. And of course I couldn't eat all this cake, and so I would cut it into little pieces. And I mean, go from room to room. I was really shy, but I knew I couldn't eat all those cake. So it's either I finish the cake myself or I, forget the shame or the shyness and go from room to room, which is what I did. And I would go in and say, hi, my name is Lolade. I'm selling these cakes. Would you like to buy? Of course, some of them will eye me, but some of them will actually support. And then some of them will say, take. Yeah. Let me take one. Come back for your money. Some people are still owing me 30 naira today. And I think that's where it started from. And let's just say everything just started from that platform. So right from university, I gained that momentum. People knew that they had a friend who would bake a cake, and it was now about balancing my classwork and baking, because it became such an obsessive passion. I really loved to bake, and with the little knowledge I had then, I would do what I had with what I had. And then I remember, fast forward to when I was about to graduate, on a December, a friend of mine sent me a beautiful, I've never seen a cake like that before. And I was intrigued. I'm like, I don't know how to make cake. That cake was just a simple white cake covered with fondant. And I hadn't seen that before. At the time, it was just royal icing. Yes. I just loved how it was so pristine and clean. And when I cut the cake and ate it, I just knew, I have to go and learn from this person. So I, called my friend and I'm like, where did you get the cake from? Can I go and trade there? And, fast forward to the next year or so, we made the payment, and for at least 1 year or almost a year, I was going from my house to that store. The store is called the Oven Cake Craft at Aja, and I lived in Ikeja. So I had to move, and this is what passion does. I had to move to my auntie's house in Dolphin Estate. And from there, I took it so religiously. And from there, so it was right after my NYS, before I got my first job, that space of 6 or 8 months, I would go to that place just every single day, and that is where I learned how to decorate cakes properly with fondant. All right. And the rest of the day is history, because right after that, I got into paid employment. I started working with Virgin Atlantic Airways. And guess what? I became the office baker. All of my friends, I was at the season of my life where my friends were getting married, my colleagues. Even the office knew I could bake, and they knew I could bake properly. So they supported me. Anytime they had like a function in the office, they would actually give me, the money and say, Lolade, bake this cake for the office. We're having a meeting, we're having an office function or something like that. So I can say one thing led to another, and here we are today.
Wow. Excellent. So guys, we're on a very short break. Don't go away. Please call your friends, call your sister, your brother to come listen to this, because we're about to get into the main gist of this. And we'll be right back. Welcome back from that short break, and you've been speaking with me, Faith Afolabi, and my guest is Lolade Ogunjimi, CEO Dainty Affairs, Nigeria's #1 online baking store. And she's been sharing her experience on how she started her business in cake making. You might say, oh, it's just cake. But I can tell you, she is paying her bills with this business. She has done a lot, and she's also received some awards for the work she does. you can just go on an Instagram page, Google Dainty Affairs, and you can see what they've been doing. And you can also order your cake for your parties as well. Okay, so Lolade, like I said, I have friends who have started this business and they quit, and because they're like, everybody's doing cake. Everyone is doing cake. So how are you able to overcome this challenge? Almost everyone is making cake. I have like 4 or 5 friends that are making cake. What has kept you going? What is that anchor that you have that said, you know what, regardless of how the market is, this is what I've been called to do? I know one time you told me that cake has a spirit. One time we came to visit you at your store with my sister, and that stuck with me. I was like, cake is a spirit. This lady knows what she's doing. This must be something that is keeping her going. So what's it?
But before I answer that question, I will say this. So right after the time that I was in Virgin Atlantic, I actually did a short course, a beauty course. All right. So I became a professional makeup artist or a professional beauty consultant, and I did really well. I mean, really well. Awards here and there. I would the kind of clients that were on my portfolio were people like this day style. I mean, that was a stage in my life that, oh my goodness, there was so much money. You know, I was in my late 20s. You know, I had found an outlet of expression through cake and beauty art, and like they would say, I was living the life. But unfortunately, I didn't have guidance. I didn't have mentorship. Okay, and so I just literally went from my paid employment and opened a storefront where I was servicing people who wanted to do their bridal makeups, wanted to groom their brows, and there's a huge market for that. Everybody wants to look good. And the cake actually became the side gig. So the beauty was the main and the cake became the side gig. So what happened at the time was people would come in and I would do the bridal makeup for the bride and also their wedding cake. Okay? Wow. But this is what happens. I didn't have any formal training in running a business. I only had a formal training in creating the craft. And creating a craft and running a business are 2 separate entities. And I had to learn the hard way. So when I got married and I started having children, I couldn't manage the 2. It was exhausting. You know, unlike makeup, you go make somebody up within 2 hours or so, they're ready and they leave. Cake, on the other hand, sometimes you're on your feet for 2 days straight. And I mean on your feet, because it's handwork. You have to stand, bake, stand, decorate, stand, arrange your flowers and all whatnot. So I found out that I was a new wife, a new mother, and I completely didn't have a life outside my craft. Okay, so I suffered what is called a burnout. It was so bad that I almost literally closed the business, and I mean it. So it is also important that as a business owner, especially as a woman, you are surrounded with a fantastic support system. So my support system is, for example, my husband allows me to do my work. He met me doing this. So he understands the dynamics of, you know, spending a lot more time than usual trying to create. And of course, I'm surrounded by a beautiful family that is always ready to help me. So I could put my children there, you know, and just focus on the job. And especially my support system understand that I am really passionate about this. So on days when I want to quit, they remind me that no, don't quit. Why don't you do it this way? Why don't you take a break? Sometimes you will notice you just need a break to clear your mind, see what you're doing wrong, and figure out how to do it correctly. Because every business has its challenges. And my goodness, in the midst of that challenge is growth. So when you tell me, you know, why haven't I quit or why have I been consistent over the years, it's because I understand that anything big takes time to create. Okay, so you can't just come into someone's space today and see, oh, they're here, they're there, they're doing fantastic. Dig deeper, ask questions. There's something they've had to endure over the years. So when you have come to meet them, or that season you have come to meet them, in their life or in their business, they have crossed the T's, dot the I, okay, and you have met them in a good place. So one of the things I had to do when I realized passion wasn't enough, I decided to go back to learn, okay? You find out that people who work in corporate environments, maybe after their NYSC or so, after 1 or 2 years in the corporate environment, they go and do their masters. In Nigeria, there's no master in running a craft business. All right, you are the one that they're only masters in creating. So I needed to understand what people who are excelling in their business were doing. So I started to invest not anymore on craft courses. I started to invest in business courses, time out with people that I admired how their businesses were being run, and I immersed myself in those learnings and teachings. There were times I would hire consultants, and the dynamics of running a bakery business is different from any other type of business. So what I'm trying to say is we'll make a mess, but I wasn't going to take no for an answer. I had put so much into this, and I knew that I had to learn things that would teach me how to run the business properly, you know. And so there was a season about a couple of years ago, I ended up being in that environment. And that environment was like a veil that was literally taking off my eyes. And it was just a one-day class, but I can tell you that class completely shifted my paradigm on what it takes to run any type of business. You know, one of the things that kind of discourage business owners, small business owners in Nigeria is a lot. We're talking about the factors you cannot control, like light, NEPA, tax. You can't control that. Now, once you know the ones you can't control, you need to build a system around how you're going to manage that, right? But the things you can control, for example, your environment, the support that you have around you, how do you control these factors? So, for example, your environment. I decided I wanted to run an online store, okay? And for you to run an online business, you need a website. So I went on that journey of figuring out how to get that sorted. And when that was sorted, I knew for an online store, I didn't want people coming into, you know, we just wanted a space, like a studio space, like a factory where we could produce and have a seamless network of logistics that just help us to, you know, do our work very well. So I'm talking delivery had to be on point. The type of delivery system had to make sure they knew how to manage our cakes. I needed customer care that would be able to speak to the customer. I needed a marketing system that will attract people, make them trust us and come to us, and be able to afford the kind of we're rendering. And then most importantly, I needed to figure out how to manage my staff. And in managing the staff, you have to go through different things like standard of operations and quality control and literally monitoring them. Because when you work in this type of space we're in, you work with a lot of those skilled workers, people who didn't have an education like you, people who didn't go to university. And for goodness sake, they don't have a mission, they don't have vision. You are the one that will teach them how to be like that and create a system that forces them to work properly. Okay, so that is how I'm able to So you would notice that from all I've said, everything hasn't gone smoothly and things are not going smoothly. We just have a way to manage it. And for goodness sake, to call it quits at this time, I've been doing this for a long time. Is it now I want to call it quits? No. I'm even far from where we should be, but we keep striving. We keep striving. And of course, I'm a woman of faith. So I pray a lot. I tell God about my dreams, and He just makes a way. On the day I'm very discouraged, He sends a word. I'm surrounded by a fantastic support system. I have friends who will call me, hold me by the hand, who know what to say to me when they should say it. You understand? And of course, even if I didn't have that, I have built my capacity to the extent whereby I can encourage myself. I don't need anyone to encourage me. Because when God was giving me this vision in my room, okay, Nobody was there, and I cannot allow any situation. So yes, those days comes where I'm down and out and discouraged, okay, but I have my well where I draw from.
Beautiful.
All right.
Guys, this is amazing. You've said a whole lot, and I've actually answered some questions. You said something about having a mentor, taking a break when you're tired, research, ask questions, be passionate enough to continue it no matter what, have a vision, be prayerful. You have a support system as well, and also take time to create. You said a whole lot, and I hope someone out there is listening. Now, you talked about factors that you can't control, and I know those are with our government, because this show is about creating a platform for people to hear and also for the government to do something to enable small businesses thrive and also career presence. So what would you like the government to do differently for cake owners? I know we've been shouting, we've been saying it, but we can't stop. We have to keep speaking to our government, right?
You know, this question is like a double-edged sword, okay? So honestly, I don't think we need to wait for the government.
Okay.
Because if we wait for the government, there are a lot of other interests they have. And that's the truth. So this question, I said, is a double-edged sword, because it's now the responsibility of the cake business owner to understand what they are up against and be able to be like, no, this is a serious business. What do I need to do? What does it take for me to thrive in this environment? So whether we like it or not, the government will probably not look at what we're doing. They wouldn't. So if you're waiting for that, you will wait and you continue to give excuses based on what the government is doing. So I say, do a housekeeping. So you asked me a question, and I'm turning it back on the cake business owners. Now, one of the passions I have as being a cake business owner is to share with fellow cake business owners what it takes to run a thriving and profitable cake business. Okay? So I hardly would do courses of come and learn how to bake. In fact, those type of courses, too many people are doing it.
Yes.
I do courses centered around come and be mentored or learn how to structure your business, how to brand your business, how to coordinate your internal activities so that your customers will take you seriously. And that is it. Once people can take you seriously, they will respect that. People like orderliness. Yes. So if you come around and they see, oh, I didn't have to dress like this. I didn't have to look like this today. Okay. I've come to a realization that as a business owner, I myself am a brand ambassador. Yes. And then when people see me, how do they see me? If I came in and I look so lazy, you know, which is what a lot of cake business owners look like. I'm very busy too, but I'm very strategic. I am very deliberate on the things that I do, on the days that we're down and out, and I have to do I make sure show up properly. Okay, so a lot of people need to show up personally properly. A lot of people need to take their business, cake business owners, into a place where their business shows up properly.
That's fantastic. Awesome.
Okay, the person ends respected. So that thing called respect is at the end of the day that will translate to your sales, because people respect you as a person. They respect the brand you have built. They respect your products and your services. When they come, they look good, they taste good, they package well. That respect ends up being respect for you at the end of the day. And once you are respected and you run a reputable business, it is also a profitable business. At the end of the day, so whatever policies the government puts in place, you will be able to fall in line and make sure that you're not on the wrong side of the law. So going back to the question now, we don't wait for government before we put our rules in place or our organization in place. All right? But it is important to know what the government policies are. What are your obligations as far as taxes are concerned? What are your obligations as far as food safety is concerned? What are your obligations as far as your human resources is concerned? It's important that you know you're not oblivious. You're a business person. The policies they're making, it will definitely affect you. So it's important that you don't kind of bury your head inside all of those flowers. Come out of your comfort zone. If you don't know, hire someone that can do it. An accountant will keep you up to date on the various policies or financial policies that affect the environment, so that you can also make meaningful decisions or produce meaningful products that can, really appeal to the market that you're looking for.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Wow, that's amazing. So final words for someone out there looking at you and want to be Lolade, what would you tell that person?
That final word, I would say your dreams are valid. You are much more than you think. You were made for more. I always tell people I had to groom myself to become like this. I'm an introvert by nature. I'm very shy by nature. And when I got to the stage of where I became a business owner, I knew I had to shed off a lot of those stereotypes. I had to learn to speak, to engage my audience. I had to learn my craft very well. I also had to step out of my comfort zone to learn other crafts that kind of complements with what I'm doing. So, for example, I had to learn photography, videography and editing, copywriting. I had to learn how to build a website.
Wow.
And today, your phone or your system, once you go onto Google, you can learn anything. So I would say to you, come out of your comfort zone. Those challenges you're going through are probably what is preparing you for your greatness. So hang in there, get the right training, okay, and pray about everything. God wants us all to excel and succeed. All right, so that will be my words of encouragement to anyone who is down and out or just about to start.
Wow, you just heard from Lolade Ogunjimi, CEO Dainty Affairs, and she's saying come out of your comfort zone. Yes, and I'm telling you the same thing, come out of your comfort zone and get on with that stuff. Do it afraid, be brave about it, pray about it. And the people you're admiring are actually admiring you if you don't know that. Thank you so guys for staying on this episode, and you can thank me and you can see we've had a wonderful time, and we want to see you again next time. Lolade, thank you so much. Guys, please subscribe on our YouTube channel, follow us on all our social media platforms, and my name is Faith Afolabi, the host for the CWF show, which is Conversations with Faith, founder of Margaret Consult and an international development worker. So see you next time, and from me it's a bye.